Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And this reporting is very interesting from Open Signal. There's two sides to this. You guys have seen the 5G experience full report if you watched the Verizon video. And that's the one that T-Mobile is supposed to be leading hands down. They claim leadership. They claim the largest 5G network. There shouldn't be any doubt as to T-Mobile claiming that leadership. And some of these reports, I have doubts. Right? Out of 7 categories, Verizon won 5. T-Mobile only got 2. So that signals to me, is it a possibility that T-Mobile is in trouble here? Because the 5G story, the marketing material, it's all focused on 5G for T-Mobile. When Verizon just took 5 awards out of 7. So it's the networks are more than just speed and availability. And we know T-Mobile lacks availability overall when it comes to network experience across the board. So at least if they're going to claim the leader in 5G and the largest 5G network, they should be winning all of the 7 categories. But they haven't. They haven't done that. Verizon keeps coming back. They keep winning. And something else that's interesting here on the mobile network experience report, the overall network, it's T-Mobile that won most of the categories. It's if you ask me, it's confusing. So T-Mobile won video experience, they won live video experience, they won the gaming, they won the download, the upload, and then availability goes to AT&T overall on the network, and then consistent quality, that goes to T-Mobile as well. So I want to read out something here very quickly before I give you guys more commentary. So AT&T leads for availability. We've come to see that with the FirstNet. AT&T themselves claim like 2.91 million square miles. So we're starting to see that a little bit more on the crowdsourced side. They're catching up, but eventually I think we will fully see that on most of the crowdsourced sites. Just like in the previous report, AT&T claims its only outright win for availability with a score of 99.4. AT&T score beats Verizon by 0.2 percent points. T-Mobile comes in third with a score of 98.3, but it sees the highest improvement in the score out of all U.S. operators by 0.3%. So T-Mobile had the biggest increase on availability. So this is very interesting. So overall, T-Mobile takes the cake. But on 5G, where they claim to be the leader, they only get 2 out of the 7 categories. So, looking at it objectively, what it could potentially be, I think T-Mobile is trying to force the issue on 5G. So a lot of that standalone stuff, a lot of that NSA stuff it's not consistent. So sometimes you'll be on standalone and then the speeds will be different from NSA. NSA usually is more uplink because there's more spectrum. And I think in some cities, it's difference between tower to tower. So on one tower, you're on standalone. Then you travel to the next tower, you're on NSA. And that doesn't help T-Mobile in the 5G experience report. Now, of course, that will change in the future. Eventually, all of the network will be on standalone. We get that. I understand that. But for now, I still think it's mostly beta. They're still testing. They're still working. They're still optimizing. I truly believe that. There's still more spectrum that's being refarmed. Again, not making excuses for T-Mobile, but I think that's what's happening on the back end. And of course, they're trying to incorporate voice over NR, which that's going to present issues as well. They have to go through, the early stages on that. And then there's going to be some optimizing and changing some stuff there. But you can kind of see on the overall, which LTE, NSA, all of that is calculated. T-Mobile wins a good amount of the category. They even get the consistency one that's newly added. But on 5G, they only get 2 out of the 7 awards. That's a little interesting to me. I know Verizon is working hard with the C-band, so I expected that to happen. But I also expected Verizon to win that overall and not T-Mobile. So that leads me to believe that the SA, the NSA, then sometimes you do drop off to LTE still. I think all of that is hurting T-Mobile's 5G experience on the crowdsourced side, because there's just millions of tests that are going into this. So that's what I'm thinking it is. Again, I'm speculating here. I don't have any official report on that. I'm just speculating based on T-Mobile doing so well overall, but not so well on the 5G side. So I wanted to look at this. T-Mobile wins the new consistency award outright. That's never been added in. They just added that in. T-Mobile is the first winner of consistent quality award in the U.S. with a score of 79.8. Verizon comes in second, 3.1% points behind the winner, and AT&T takes third spot with a 75.2%. So that looks, to be a pretty good gap between the carriers. It's not too close there. Consistent quality quantifies how often user experience on a network is sufficient to support various more demanding common applications used for a range of common tasks. It measures download speed, upload speed, latency, jitter, packet loss, time to first byte. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good for T-Mobile to get that. To calculate the metric value, the proportion of tests that pass the requirements of consistent quality is multiplied by the test success ratio, which is the proportion of completed tests to all tests conducted. So very interesting, very good award for T-Mobile to win, which a lot of people have had talked and said that T-Mobile's big issue is consistency and overall quality, and it looks like they're becoming more consistent now across the board. So T-Mobile has came a long way. We all know that. They invested a ton of money since the merger, and they're going to invest more in the future. The run rate is 9 to 10 billion. So they have a ways to go to catch up in the overall availability. I do anticipate eventually they will get there. It won't be in the short term, but eventually they will continue scaling the network. And even a 0.3% increase, as you saw, is a pretty big one. It was the biggest increase out of the carriers. Again, AT&T and Verizon are already fairly large in that regard. So not anticipating too much growth on the network from them. But it's pretty big that T-Mobile is getting there with all of the reportings that are coming out. Ookla will probably come out. Root will have their final report. And we'll compare and look at it objectively. Again, I got to say this, and I'll make a separate video on this. AT&T is kind of the one that stands out. They did outside of availability, they didn't win anything on 5G and on the overall networking. They did a good amount on root metrics, but they won't score anywhere close to Verizon, although I still anticipate them beating out T-Mobile. But not really a good competitive look from AT&T. That kind of, to close out the video, that kind of stands out to me. They scored last on most of these on Open Signal. They only won availability for overall networking. That came from FirstNet. So, and a lot of those, they're kind of far behind. Like on the upload speeds, Verizon and T-Mobile are at about an 18. AT&T's at a 12. So they got some ground to make up here in the future. And I don't know if they'll get around to that because of fiber. You guys have heard me be very adamant that they're going big on fiber, and these reports continue to showcase that wireless is not their main priority. They're not pushing to get anywhere close to being on par with the competition as long as it works and it's good enough. That seems to be their approach. It seems to work for the company. They still have the lowest churn on a quarterly basis. They're still growing, although they're anticipating a slowdown. But again, if it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Type of approach is, I think, what AT&T's taking. But, is T-Mobile in trouble? We'll see. From a marketing material standpoint, if they continue taking these types of losses on the 5G side, pretty soon they won't be able to claim any of these reports in their marketing, because Verizon will take them all. So that's kind of the perspective that I wanted to take on that. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. I look forward to reading your guys' comments. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to the channel for more. Stay tuned, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.